to the zone where geeks collide, where comics and heroes come alive. Marvel, DC, Starfleet in the mix. Lightsabers flash, we're nerding out quick. Rican's the name of the show. Dive into the worlds you already know. From the big screens to the comic store. Super stories and so much more.
Hey, welcome back again to another edition of Ricans. And on today's show...
So you said Murder Ricans.
Yeah.
I know, I kind of thought I said that myself. So, on Murder Ricans... Just be careful. Here's Johnny. Wait, so getting back to the show, we're gonna have some good subjects to call. One of them is, who's your favorite Robin from the universe of Batman? Who is your favorite Robin? I have a top list of 4, but you can go on the honorable mentions for your own.
It's not who's the best Robin. It's who's the best amongst those 4 because I have.
Yeah, the best ones for them 4.
There's like a whole bunch.
There's a whole bunch.
So
there's even a female one,
There's
in that animated feature for Batman. I forgot again. The Dark Knight Rises. As a matter of fact,
they don't talk about it because they rescued.
No, but the animated
all
feature.
of them are rescues.
They took.
All right?
For the rescue, for the sex offense.
The real question is, should Bruce Wayne be allowed anywhere near an orphanage? Tonight on the news.
Not just that, but if you watch the animated feature, the Crisis on Infinite Worlds, there's a scene where they're in the Monitor's place, and it's all the different Batmans, all the different Dick Graysons or whatever, all the different superheroes from each of their timelines and universes and Earths there. And at one point, Dick from another universe, Grayson, comes up to him and he says hi and he introduces himself. He said. And when he said what his name was, Grayson said, "Oh yeah, from the Flying Graysons." He said, "Yeah, you remember? I mean, you know." And he's like, "Tragedy with your family and stuff." I said, "Yeah, I know. You took me in, you adopted me, you trained me, and I became your partner." First words out of his mouth when he looked at him was like a dark pause. He says, "Well, that's irresponsible." Mm-hmm. It's like he picked a kid up and turned him into his sidekick. It's like, alarm bells are ringing, and then he says. And what's her name? Her real name, Huntress. She wanted to see you, and she's like, first she goes, "Dad." She's like, "What? Dad? I don't know you." But Huntress is the mating between Batman and Selina Kyle.
That's alternate universe. We might have to redo this again because this is supposed to be the intro, and we're just talking. I just realized that we're.
But we're talking, and let's keep on talking. Either way, with the Crisis on Infinite Earths, you had that scene, and it's kind of funny when you think about it. Him saying it's irresponsible that he took a kid and turned him into his sidekick. Hello.
I mean, all superheroes are pretty much irresponsible people, but that's a whole different.
Well, true with Batman in particular too, because he got roofied by the Ra's al Ghul's daughter.
That's not.
He got roofied.
I don't think that's not the story that's in the comics, though. It wasn't it that he did sleep with her.
He did sleep with her, but it wasn't something that was willing.
He was very willing.
I know he was very willing, but
he was very willing. Okay, no, we're not gonna go there because I literally was trying to tell you that Captain Kirk is a victim of circumstance, and then you're gonna tell me that Batman was you. No, we're not gonna have that, all right? Batman, I'm pretty sure was like his DNA was stolen.
But so the scene where she drugged his
she didn't. I'm gonna Google this now because
it's animated. I think in the animated features, he did it.
Stories. I don't consider animated stories the actual storylines because 9 out of 10 times they're gonna change it. I go with the comic book storyline unless it's like changed in the comic books. And in the comic books, I remember distinctly that it was a willing event. She got her hands like on his juice. So
the billionaire playboy got himself, son, and he got himself twice, and he got 2 kids out of it. Because that's the one thing is that it was never like until later on. It's like, will Batman have any kids? Yeah. You know, but then now you do because him and the thing with Selina Kyle being the Catwoman, that was always a continuous thing. That's like a heated.
The only way you're gonna get one by accident.
Yeah, it's like it's somehow she in heat, boom, that's gonna happen. Now what's it? Is it the queen? No, the queen of the demon's head. That's something different. She went after him, bro.
Talia.
Oh yeah, Talia wanted
When
that.
it comes to the Robins, I might have to go with Teen Titans.
Well, what's
Teen
his
Titans?
list? Okay, so who are the four Robins we get to choose? Because he said
Okay,
there's
Dick-
only four.
Well, I said 4. I picked out 4.
That's what he picked out. The only four.
I picked out 4.
So you can only pick from these 4. You cannot think of any.
Well, I didn't
others.
say you can only pick from these 4. You can make some honorable mentions if you want, but who would, as far as these 4, who is the best, and who would you take with you? Who you want you backing you up completely? So for me, like I said, you got Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and of course the Demon Head, Damian Wayne.
Okay.
All right.
Four.
So, which one you got? Who you
I
want
can
backing you
only
up?
Pick one to back me up.
Out of the 4, out of those 4. Now you can make an honorable mention of someone else. I mean, there've been like so many. Go ahead. If you have an honorable mention, who is it?
But that's hard. Okay, first of all, I would probably see. My answer is there's one of them I would not choose to back me up in those 4,
Which is
and it's Tim.
Tim Drake.
Sorry, Tim Drake. I love Tim. Don't get it twisted. But Tim is one of those where I'd be like, nah, I know for a fact that God forbid something happens, like they will all have your back. But like, I know Damien is going full. I know Jason's going full. I know Dick is going full. Tim, I don't know. I don't have confidence in that. I don't know. He's the
There's a
only
bit
one
of a
I would not
hesitation
choose.
on Tim.
Tim would be the one I wouldn't choose.
Okay, for me, I would say the same thing. In some respect, I definitely would not do Tim Drake. I mean, somewhere along the line, he gets a little squeamish for some reason or hesitant, and he wants to make a think thing. Like, I want to think about this. No, don't think. Do. And that's definitely Damien. That's my number one guy. Cause it's like, but I have to be careful too because that could change in a heartbeat against you instead of for you. So, but I would still choose him because he was trained since he was a baby, a little boy, and probably maybe. And I would hate to say this, but I'm gonna speak out and say maybe one of the best out of the 4 when it comes to fighting. The best out of the
Who?
4.
Who?
Damien.
I was thinking Grayson would be.
I was saying Grayson.
I would say Grayson
First
too,
of all,
but
Grayson. Okay, Damien is great.
but Damien
He switched from.
Damien holds his own against him.
And also, Grayson is one of the only few who's also been trained by Superman. We forget that he got his name from Superman. That's how he got the name.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the Grayson was a superhero on his homeworld. So, oh sorry, yeah, well, not Grayson. Sorry, the Nightwing. The Nightwing was a superhero on his planet. So that's how he got the name Nightwing. So it's like he's I think the only one who's been trained by both Superman and Batman. So he's got the duality of that.
Remind you, Superman.
Granted, like Damien's a phenomenal. I think Damien is just as good as Batman in fighting and capabilities. But the thing is with Damien, he's very, very brash and he's very he doesn't think ahead sometimes. He just reacts.
No,
Whereas
he's arrogant.
He's very arrogant.
That's one thing
Right.
is for sure. And you got a reason to be arrogant. I mean, you've been trained since high
Yeah.
to where you're at with the hand every day. So everything they suffered, you trained,
Now-
they trained. It was nonstop training.
And he, no, it was not the youngest. Forget it. I was gonna say maybe it's because he's the youngest. He was trying to prove himself.
No, he didn't give a crap. He didn't have to prove anything. He didn't give a crap about that.
Yeah.
I think if realistically speaking, he is probably the deadliest. And I'm saying that even with Jason Todd in the mix, he is the deadliest. He is probably the quickest to kill out of all of them. And again, bringing up Jason Todd, Todd will kill, but he will kill with substance. Yes, it'll have a purpose. Whereas with Damien, will be like, maybe I'll find the purpose later on. Like, it happens.
You could be a mugger on the street. He's taking you out.
There's a fun fan video that was going around on TikTok for a bit. Where it was someone was doing a skit and they were like a group of Gotham villains kidnaps one of the Robins, right? But they don't know who it is. They're like, "Who did you take?" And he was like, "I took a Robin." He was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "I went." He's like, "I went to the house and that's what it was. They were trying to take something from Bruce Wayne." He was like, "Oh, so I went to the house and I found a kid there." And he was like, "What do you mean there was a kid there?" And he was like, "Yeah." He was like, "We kidnapped him and whatever." He's like, what's the kid's name? He was like, "Oh, it's Damon." He was like, "Oh no, turn back. You didn't kidnap him. He kidnapped you. Like you are in danger." Like he let that happen. So
He's like Rorschach. Okay? He's like Rorschach. You're not in here
with me?
I'm in here with you.
No, he was like, "Yeah, I'm not stuck in here with you."
That's Damien.
It's I'm not stuck in here with you. You're stuck in here with me. Sorry, I don't.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing now that we're talking about it like this. We always laugh and joke around that Batman is using them, he's a pervert or everything. Now I know now the real story.
His child soldiers.
Yeah, now I know the real story. Batman don't like to kill. So let me get a guy that can
I
kill
will.
and he can get the blame for everything.
I gotta have full deniability.
I'm not gonna lie. I was on Jason's side in that whole aspect of when he found out that the Joker was still alive, and even that's subjective because we don't really know if the same Joker that killed him and has been or whatever is the same Joker that we do see in the comics, because that's a whole thing in of itself.
Was it that Joker came through the time warp and he had to fight all the animated part? He had to fight the Batmans and the Robins. And he says there, wow, even in that universe, Batman wants to keep Joker alive. Like, and they went to go kill him. They had to go to that universe to go kill him in anime. So right there tells me, I think Batman is the Joker. I don't know.
That's a very fun fan theory. That one, that he is a Joker, and that two, that everything that we have seen is because Bruce is in an insane asylum, and everything that's going on is like they're orderlies or other people who are there, whatever. But yeah, there's a very popular theory that he is also the Joker.
And the reason why he was in it spanned from the moment that he saw his parents die. That shock. He became disconnected to the point where they put him in Arkham Asylum. And in that rubber room, that's his world up in his mind.
I was in a rubber room once.
But
sorry, that was old audio. I was in a rubber room once.
I gotta say, it's like when
I've never been in a rubber room. I've been in a room with rubbers.
I've seen enough addicts in my life and walk through a room through them. So, but as far as the aspect of what's it called, when we mentioned the Joker is concerned, there was a recent DC KO, in which each one of the contestants, and Robin was one of them. As a matter of fact, it was Jason Todd, Robin, got a one-on-one with the Joker. And they were talking about a knockdown, dragged out, crazy fight.
I'm sorry. The idea that the Joker could hold his own in a fight cracks me up. Again, I do genuinely believe the theory of that the Joker we see is not the same Joker we are always seeing, right? That he's like a criminal that has died and someone else takes up the mantle and whatever.
Like Saw.
So, no. What do you mean like Saw?
In Saw.
You know, Jigsaw has always been Jigsaw, right?
No. Not Jigsaw. Talking about the movie.
It wasn't his daughter. It was one of the girls that he had, remember, tortured in the second movie and then changed over.
And there was guy.
Yeah, but they were not
fulfilling his work.
Yeah,
because he had already died.
But they were. The goal was to have them take over. He never let them take over.
No.
They were associates. He stayed in control of that whole thing. He stayed Jigsaw. So no, but this is, I mean, the sense of like, the Joker will die, and then someone else takes up the mantle of the Joker, and now they are the Joker. There's anybody else. There's no, exactly. So it's like, but it makes sense kind of thematically when you think about all the different storylines and all the different iterations, because there's no real.
I mean, he turned. Was it Quinzel to Harley Quinn? He turned her.
Technically, she turned herself.
But there was something there. There was something there that he
technically,
tapped in.
and then also,
He tapped into something.
Fun fact, Harley Quinn was not introduced in the comic book. She was introduced on the Batman animated, the original series. In that origin, she did fall in love with the Joker, and she willingly let herself be turned. She wasn't lured in. She wasn't, remember, because she was a psychiatrist. She's hella smart. She just fell in love with it. She's actually way smarter than people give her credit for.
No, but I'm just
she
saying,
just fell in love. She fell in love with a
psycho.
Yeah, she just fell in love with a psychopath. That's all. But she is extremely smart. She made the choice. She knew what she was getting into. She wasn't on some like, oh my God, I had no clue. She was like, no, I had every clue. I knew this guy was bad. I knew he was a killer. I knew he was this, and I still chose him. So.
But the thing is, she didn't do it alone. He opened that door to that part of her psyche that existed. And after that, it was her decision.
He didn't open no doors. That door was already open. She was thirsty for him, bro. So
he's smarter than her.
Oh yeah.
You know, because you can't be like, I'm a psychiatrist. I'm gonna help you, and you're the one that got turned. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's why I was like, woo.
Like I said, the door was already there and the door was already open. But the thing is,
at the same time,
she didn't go through.
it could be a theory where someone took over for Joker because remember,
Yes.
in the movie, everyone had that
Mask.
clown mask
Yeah.
and all that, and they all were doing it. So one of them could have been, flipped out and now took over. So
Yeah.
you never know. It probably is not the same Joker, and we're here thinking it is,
Or
Batman is thinking it is and it's not.
or the Joker could be an entity that takes over people
Could be.
and turns them into that.
The
you know,
effect
and
of him
becomes
falling
that.
into that bat of whatever chemicals. But that also
It's
be the
DC,
effect.
so fantasy.
Fantasy. You dropped
gonna
into the
be
vat
DC.
of
It's
chemicals.
gonna-
You came back a disembodied entity, and you just jump in the bodies,
Yeah.
and each one of them just follow your control because they no longer have no will. It is just the Joker at that point.
But yeah, no, going to the whole thing, I don't think that there's one Robin better than the other. I think that they all have their own qualities, at their own things. I think that different things speak to different people. Do I wish the other ones would get more love? Stephanie Brown is the one that we were mentioning earlier.
Stephanie
Wish she would
Brown,
get more,
okay.
Love. There's a whole, I could pull up the list. There's so many of them. But like, there's so many characters who deserve so much more
Credit.
love. Not credit, love. Just
Yeah.
people, I hate the idea of people being like, there's only one that's better than the other one. Like, no, they all have their own aspects. They all have their own thing that they bring to the table that's different from the other person. And no one is better than the other, per se. It's just
No,
like,
it's true. I could say that, but like I said, it's a matter of choice. Just a matter of choice. And for me, like I said, Damien is my choice. But again, like I said, even though he's my choice, it can also go against me at any time. But if I'm going into combat with someone who's going to give no Fs whatsoever, and is just going to go in there and take care of the job, that's it. It's just us taking care of it, then I would choose him out of the rest because I don't want to get into a moral debate with the other three. I want someone that's going to go in there and we're going to take
you're
care of
not
business.
getting moral debates from Jason or Damien. Maybe
Dick.
Tim.
Dick.
Dick might,
Dick.
but he'll save it for after.
Or during.
No, after. Because he knows during the fight, you got to fight. I think he'll save it for afterwards and then be like, okay, you remember that situation? Yeah, no, now we got to talk about that. Come over here. Like that.
And Tim was about the only one we both agree was just like, I don't know. I don't know.
How about we talk about the fact that all of them have ties to a Kryptonian? All of the Bat kids have their own Kryptonian.
Okay, so the Bat Kids have, let's see, Dick Grayson would be Superman.
Supergirl.
Oh, Supergirl?
So Superman's Batman.
Okay, Superman,
Superman belongs to
Batman.
Batman.
Okay, yes.
Supergirl and Dick.
Supergirl's Dick.
Right, and then you've got Jonathan and Jason.
Jonathan and
Or is it
Jason
or is it him and Tim?
would be then
Hold on.
Jason. Okay, Jason and Tim Drake.
And then Khan is with Damien. I know that.
Connor. Okay.
Yeah. So hold on. There's a whole list of. I have to find it. But yeah, that always cracked me up. That all the Robins and all the Bat people are connected to their own Kryptonian.
Which kind of like goes, what? It's like, what's going on here? I mean, we understand Superman and Batman, but Supergirl, at least with Dick Grayson, I could understand if he's trying to make a move on her.
Okay, so it says here, so Batman, Superman, Nightwing, Supergirl, Red Hood, Bizarro, Robin with Connor, and then Damien with Jonathan.
Wait. Did you just say
Red
Bizarro?
Hood with Bizarro. Because he's technically Kryptonian.
He is technically Kryptonian, but it makes sense as far as
The way that broke him for a second, he said,
it's like, wait a second,
Hold on.
Bizarro?
what
Like,
a couple.
What?
Red Robin
That's
with
an
Connor
understatement
Kent.
there in
So-
itself.
Yeah, so Red Robin with Connor Kent, and then Damian Wayne with John Kent.
Okay, well, Damian Wayne and John Kent, I could see that because they already had done like the film, The Super Sons, and it was those two. And it was pretty funny to say the least.
Yeah, and then the Bizarro was, remember, that was the Outlaws.
The Outlaws, but again,
So-
we're talking Bizarro.
Look, going further, they have Huntress listed, right?
As-
Huntress under Bat Family, because technically in the
Yeah,
alternate
true.
universe, right? So, and hers is Power Girl.
Oh yes. And most people don't know that she's
She's a
Kryptonian.
Kryptonian!
She's a clone of Supergirl.
Exactly.
So hello, I'm like she's what supposedly Supergirl will grow up to, and I'm like wow. Sorry, I'm just being a dude about this. I don't care if it's an animated character, but wow.
We all love that card, the heart cutout.
Oh God! When I see cosplayers play, I'm like, no. And I go to that. I say, you gotta emulate this. Some of them do it. I'm like, no.
It's very hard to emulate.
Oh my
boobies
God.
that big.
But
I guess we'll come back with our next questions after these breaks.
Do you see me standing tall? I have it all, but lost it all. A wife, a child, a world to see. But all I want is you proud of me.
We're back. Yes, part-time. Yes, you will be throwing money at. Yes, send.
Should get off Craigslist.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Just finding a new way to pay bills. Oh, well, I already know as far as what sidekick from Batman we would like, but just looking on to some other news. I do want to talk about this week's episode of Starfleet Academy. I have to say that it's impressing me more and more with the stories they're coming with. Especially this one was a Klingon episode all the freaking way.
This week for us, it'll be a
Yeah,
past
for us.
episode for you guys.
Mm-hmm. And I'll start it off by remembering this because those trekkers that are out there that are listening, you'll remember this when I read these words. With the first link, the chain is forged. The first speech censored, the first thought forbidden, the first freedom denied, changes all irrevocably. Now, for me, that resided with an episode called Drumhead in The Next Generation, when it was used to put somebody back in their place as to what they were doing was wrong. But in Starfleet Academy, it was the start of the debates, which is one of those things that when you think about it, as all the other episodes of Star Trek, when you watch them, when they get into a discussion, it becomes a debate. But either way, at the end of the day, captain has the final word. Some captains, will entertain ideas. Pike goes, yeah, good, I love it. I love this plan. Let's do this plan. Or Kirk with his famous, risk is our business speech. You have those debates, and where do they come from? Starfleet Academy. So it's like I like it.
There's a difference though between debates and rhetoric. I think that's what you're confusing right now. The episode was about the debate team, but the idea is behind the rhetoric that is being taught. Mm-hmm. So Star Trek is great at giving you rhetoric that makes sense in digestible ways. And that quote was a great use of the previous. That quote in the episode was a great use of that, to show you the rhetoric that they're trying to give you in this episode through the debate team and all that stuff that was going on with the Klingons and whatnot. Sorry, it's just like I had to say my piece.
There's always a story within a story, but like I said, this was the opening of it, and then the story, of course, with the Klingons. It's like I asked myself, like, what happened to them after the burn happened? Because a lot of, besides the Federation, a lot of other powers were devastated by this. But we didn't hear much of them. Like right now, before we heard about. Well, hold on. We haven't heard from the Cardassians yet. We've seen the Romulans. They've formed with the Vulcans, and then there's still more to go. Like Ferenginar, the Ferengis are there. We already saw one of them representing as a cadet. But then you have this lone Klingon who he thought was abandoned. Of course, the story as it goes on is his growth as to being a Klingon warrior and understanding exactly what happened to him, and him coming up with the final solution in how Starfleet was going to approach how to help now a once great empire.
I guess.
Okay, so this is a spoiler alert. This one great power is now just refugees in space, going to wherever they need to survive.
I think I want to amend what you said that we don't know what happened with the Klingons. We are given a lot of context on what is potentially happening with the Klingons. What we didn't know is where they ended up, right? We don't know where they ended up, right? Which is what we get in this episode. What we knew they were sowing their seeds all over the galaxy. And that was something we were cracking up about when we were at the first episode. We were
Yes.
at our viewing party. And I cracked the joke. I was like, they were like literally like Oprah Winfrey, like, you get a nut, you get a nut. And they were just sowing their wild oats everywhere.
Everywhere.
There was half Klingons and all. There was at one point, it hasn't been confirmed yet, but I saw
Cadet
one-
Master.
What?
Cadet Master. Is it Cadet Master?
No, I didn't even finish what I was saying.
Oh, sorry.
I said,
Just
I
thought-
still know
that's what
I'm
you
saying.
mentioned.
No, I said that there was a character who we never got a confirmation on, but I literally turned to you and I said, oh my God, is that a half Vulcan, half Klingon? And
Oh.
they never confirmed it. I was like, oh my God, that is hysterical. So we know the Klingons have just been
All
screwing their
over.
way through the galaxy,
Mhm.
just sowing their wild oats. But we never knew exactly where they landed or where they ended up. We just know that when the burn happened, all the dilithium exploded that was accessible to the burn or whatever, and that anybody who had the ability to shut down production and or get away from it, got away from it. We know that the Betazoids created a psionic field around their, it was like a
Around
psionic
their-
wall
their area.
around their planet,
Space.
into the point where like on their planet, obviously, Beta Zeds are no longer normal Beta Zeds. Like they don't have the black eyes. They have empathy now, not just telepathy. The main girl who's the Beta Z, the deaf girl, has brown eyes. So like now there's these like changing of the lineages. So we know that there's been bloodlines kind of integrating and stuff like that. And the ones that we saw a lot of were mixed Klingons. The Jem'Hadar Klingon, like he's the only pure Klingon
Right.
in the Federation right now. But we do know that there are multiple mixed Klingons.
Yes, they are.
So I was just really excited. For me, the part
Of course.
was my favorite. Well, okay, not my favorite part, but there was a few favorite parts. Was when we found out his family dynamic.
Oh, yes.
He has 2 dads and a mom. So there's a triad raising them. It was him and his brother, the 2 dads and a mom. And I was like, oh, she's bad. His mom is bad. She got 2 on her side.
Opportunities within all the member worlds of the Federation who are slowly, one by one, coming back. You know, others have said no, thank you. Others have said yes, we want to come back, we want to join. That's why Earth opened its doors immediately after the situation with the 10C and said we want them back. And that's why they're back in San Francisco, right there. The school is a starship, which I find that a nice twist.
Yeah, the USS
in a way.
Athena. I thought that was really cool.
Because the fact that, you know, in the days of Yar, they were at an academy learning right then and there. So they had simulations, they had this, but nothing compared to the real world, you know, of what you go out there in space. This is offering the opportunity to do both. So they can go out there and explore, but also it's a lesson. So that when they finally graduate, they're going to be the next generation of captains, doctors, engineers, all prepared to go out into space and explore, you know, with no fear, no nervousness about, no, they've already been tested in some ways and they've already been educated on it. So yeah, I love how this show is shaping in that respect, both interpersonally with some of the characters, getting together, getting past their whatever prejudices or whatever one another, even to the point where now they joke about it, but bonding as a crew. Like they're going to wind up as they get their ships when they graduate, they're going to do that, have to learn how to bond. That's like the first lesson in itself. So I'm loving where this is going.
One of my favorite things in the episode was a little nod that was kind of thrown in. I don't even know if you caught it because I said it and you didn't react. So I was like, all right, I don't think you heard me. Remember the scene when all the ships came to help them against the Klingons? All the ships that popped up, it was like the USS Lexington or whatever, and then the last ship, what was it?
The USS Riker.
Right. I thought that was so cool that they gave Riker a ship finally. So I was like,
a nod right
yes.
then and there. The Lexington was also another nod too, because
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, the Enterprise A introduced in Star Trek: The Voyage Home was actually it was rechristened. It was the USS Lexington, rechristened Enterprise and CC 1701A. That's the one that finished off the series with the original crew, but it was the USS Lexington, rechristened in that manner.
It was the USS Capricorn, the USS Crimson, the USS Horizon, the USS Lexington, and the USS Riker.
Yes, but here's the thing that was funny. The fact it was the first and best fake fight. I hate to say it like that. Fake fight that it ever was.
I
That it was
love
the
it.
best.
I thought it was a really cool idea because the whole aspect of it was Klingons had no home planet, right? They
No.
needed a home planet, and then
They found one.
the Federation found a planet that was
Exactly.
almost exactly like
Kronos.
Kronos. That was like perfect for them. But Klingons will not take it as a gift. They view that as like, oh my god, like you're
Charity.
not yeah, exactly. Like, oh, how dare you? But she did tell that Klingon that the dude that was like her, I guess her post hookup or whatever, because they had some tension going on.
Oh yeah.
She told him about it, and then what happened was that she thought that it failed. She was like, oh, they're not going to take this up. And then they were like, oh, when they came up with the other kid's plan, they went to the planet. They were already going to the planet. They were
Yeah.
on their way. So that means that by doing what they did, they helped them solidify that amongst the Klingon Federation and allowed them to feel more open to taking the planet because, of course, they got the planet through war. But also, he did not have to,
Right.
he did not have to come up with anything to justify bringing them there because
No.
he was probably already like, okay, how am I going to spin this? How am I going to make sure that nobody, like, I found this planet. Like, nah, man, people are eventually going to figure it out. No, okay, we took this planet in battle against the Federation. All right, bet. Like, I thought that was so cool. They played on their mentality knowing, like, this is a people who pride themselves on being able to provide for them, you know,
For
as a
themselves,
culture.
and they'll
So
take what they want.
they take what they want. So guess what? We want this planet. this is ours.
Exactly. It
That
was
was
so
so
hilarious
cool.
at the end when he reaches out and says, "Good fight." I'm like, "Good fight? What are you talking about?"
Also, this-
He had nothing.
This episode was the first episode where I genuinely almost cried.
Yes.
Like, I don't get, like, it's very hard, not saying very hard for to make me cry during a show, but like to make me feel like invested to the point where I'm choked up. I was literally choked up that whole episode. And it started, and it wasn't even before everything. It was the moment that the Jem'Hadar sat with him when he found out about his family and didn't say anything. She just sat down with him and just looked at him. I was like, oh man, now this is gonna make me break. I'm gonna break. And then the whole episode I was just
But
choked up.
she made it clear in the beginning that she didn't know she should interfere or sit down with him because she would think that it's now cuddling him or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's not the Klingon way.
But no, she said she's like, as your Klingon elder, I need to be the one there to give you and provide you with this idea of that you are a Klingon, that you are a warrior no matter what anybody says. Like, oh, because you want to be a healer, that makes you lesser than? No, you are not. And she's like, I guarantee your family did what they did to allow you to come here and become Starfleet. Because without that ability, he definitely never would have been able to thrive. Like, oh man, that whole the whole his relationship with his brother, the whole thing with his like,
Yeah, you
This
get choked up.
episode solidified
Not a
for me that okay, I'm gonna probably get more into this because I was like, I like the characters, but I wasn't like too into the show to the point where I was like, yeah, I'm gonna keep watching this. I'm gonna now this kind of solidified for me a little bit more the story wise, and then also too like I ship everybody, so I'm really excited to see what other like little situations pop up.
Yeah, I'll be waiting for the ooh. Every time
literally did
every time it
that.
gets close to something like that, like on a hook up, like ooh. I know.
I've always my answer to everything and shipping discourse is like, well, this ship and this person with this person, everything can be solved with a polycule. Everybody should just be with everybody, right? That's how you fix everything. And I love that this series has already established multiple characters who live in societies with polycule situations.
Infinite variations by
And
infinite.
Let's go. That's my Star Trek, right?
It is.
So
it is.
I'm excited
And I think
for
this
that.
show, I mean, it started more with, it did start with the next, no, actually further than that with the original series. But I also saw with the next generation, they touched on it more, especially with the Trill. And then when it came to Discovery, they really just said, blah, here you go. You have a gay couple, you have a binary character.
It's the future.
And
like,
the thing
you
is,
really think people care about your gender, your sexuality,
exactly.
what you're wearing? Like,
but
no,
they,
it's
but
the
like I
future.
said before, they didn't throw it in your face. They just showed you as people who they are. Forget about the fact that they're two men and they're in love and they're both serving on the same ship. They have problems just like any other couple. They sit down, they fight, they resolve, but they still love each other. But they do it through conversation, through That's the thing. Like even today's like mirroring out there that sometimes a lot of things in relationships could have been solved with clear heads and good conversation. I don't care if you have it over wine or whatever, but you lost your talking to your partner so that your partner understands you. That's what the message is trying to get out to you. But out there, it's not that. You know, it becomes a one word could become an offensive word when it's a word that's trying to reach out to you. And all you have to do is reach out in return, and next thing you know it, you get understanding. And that's what Star Trek has always been about, to teach and show that, hey, okay, so what? They're a gay couple, and we found a lesbian one over here. That's a label. They're still people. They still have lives. They still, enjoy one another. They plan. They look at the future. Everything that any normal, or so say heterosexual couple labeling it.
If you say normal, I'm gonna slap you.
Yeah, every heterosexual couple does. But the thing is, it is all normal across the board. Yeah. Period. This is normal between two men, normal between two women, normal between man and woman, whether there's multiples or not. That's all still normal because you still care for one another, you still fight with one another, you still plan the future with one another. There's nothing different in any way that each one of these couples have. That's what I at least love about what Star Trek presents in that respect.
I know the other day we were talking about that too, is me being queer myself. I don't like the term thrown in our face though, like or pushing that, because I don't think that's a narrative that could be pushed. They're people. That's the thing that Star Trek is really good at representing: people, character stories. They don't care about what everyone else thinks about the situation, or if it's okay or not, or if this is acceptable. It's the future. At this point, if y'all are hung up about things that trivial, then there's really no hope for us by that point, right? And that's what Star Trek is showing us, that these trivial things that we are worrying about that don't really matter at the end of the day are why we're being held back. And the more, I don't even want to say the more shows we see with that, because it's not even that they're trying to push agenda, right? Because that's like the whole thing with Starfleet Academy. They're like, it's trying to be so woke, and it's trying to be this, and it's trying to be that. No, it's a show that's doing what the original series did at the time, putting a mirror on what is going on in the world and showing you through the lens of a science fiction show that what we're doing to ourselves is harming ourselves. And we could get to a reality where that doesn't matter anymore if we stopped worrying about that. Like again, he used to call the show the IDIC. That was the nickname for it, the Infinite Diversity and Infinite Combinations, which is what the Vulcans also stand for. So that was Gene Roddenberry's vision. And I think that if he was here today and he could see Starfleet Academy, he would be
very proud,
so happy, so proud, so like he would be like, I think we can make him more gay. I think he would be more open to that.
The thing as a regular person, I say, it's not the thing of like throwing it in your face. That concept comes from where you have a person putting up a picture frame and all of a sudden he's gonna kiss a guy.
No.
What the hell that got to do with anything?
That has nothing to do with anything.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Star Trek didn't do that.
Yeah.
Nope.
So that's why when I hear, oh, they're being woke, why? Because they put a gay person.
They put a human being on
They
screen.
didn't do nothing yet
No.
to show woke. Now, when he be like, hey, pass me this, yes, dear, and then start kicking, now you're throwing it in the face. It has nothing to do with the dish. This was showing a couple how they are, and then they stopped it right there. This is about them. That's it. It wasn't about them putting up a frame. This is not a beginning of a porno. This, you know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
nothing. It's just about a relationship, and that's where it goes. Where I thought it was done tastefully, because I'm tired of all this woke stuff.
Yeah.
You're running for a rabbit, and then two guys are running together. What the hell does this got to do with the? You know what I mean? Like stick with the story, and that's what Star Trek did.
Yeah.
Introduce two people where it's what you're gonna see in your life, and that's where Disney needs to learn from. And versus not throwing it in your face and making it a thing that's supposed to be everyday thing. Because when people say norm is, your norm is different between mine. I don't see that every day. That's my norm.
Right.
I see it every day. That's my norm. So you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
So your norm is different between another person's norm.
Right.
But for you to throw it in people's faces, that's where it gets.
Yeah.
Also, you saying the norm makes me remember how there was always conversations in fandom of normalizing something. I'm like, that is so dumb.
That's the stupid
That is
thing.
so. Sorry,
Because again,
so
your
effing
norm
dumb.
is different between my norm. So
It's
you
like,
can't
yeah,
normalize
and the idea of normalizing treating someone like a human being despite who they love or what they are, like that's not like, yeah, we should normalize that. Like, that is something that should be normalized. But that you treat it as if it's like, oh, it's a trope that they're throwing in. Like, it's like, first of all, as someone who's very queer and watches a lot of queer media, like, there's a distinction between queer media and like media that features queer characters, right? So like Star Trek is a show that has queer characters. I would actually probably call Starfleet Academy queer to everything else, because a lot of the characters already have the basis of that understanding, right? Again, you're in space, you're stuck in a little hole for 5 years. Everybody's bumping uglies at some point. I don't give a fuck. So, but yeah, normalizing people being human, yeah, that's good. But if you're watching a show and you're like, why are there so many gay people on that? Maybe you're watching queer media and confusing it for something that you were looking for. Like, and if that's your problem, just go watch something. It's so easy to just go click and then go to something else. Or you know what? I don't like this. Let me go. I've picked up fan fictions. I've picked up regular stories, movies, TV shows. Watched a couple bit of it, read a little bit, and been like, actually, no, this isn't me. I'm gonna put it away. Maybe I'll come back to it later, revisit it, see if it's maybe at the time I wasn't really getting it, or it just wasn't in my perspective at the time, and then be like, actually, this was pretty good. But 9 out of 10 times when I'm looking for queer media, I'm looking for queer media. I'm looking for that. So if you're stumbling upon it and it's in everything you're watching, baby, that sounds like a you problem now, because you are not doing the work to only consume the media that you want to consume then, because I put in the work.
And the only way I can chime in with that is to say, do yourself a favor, take off your glasses, take off this zoom lens that you have, that all of a sudden everything seems queer to you, and just look at the characters for who they are. I mean, if I said Stamets and the Doctor went through life, went through death, rejection, going 900 years into the future, to the point where one had an existential dilemma, and trying to figure out who he is and what happened, because he died and came back, and he rejected the one person that loved him the most, and he had to wake up from that. And remember Jen Reno telling him, like, hey, wake up. Someone here loves you, and you're rejecting them for what reason? What did they do to cause you harm?
What's funny is that they aren't even the first real like queer couple on that show.
No.
Next Generation was Riker. Riker has at least 2 different hookups that I can remember. One of them was non-binary, and the other one I think was Trill.
Yes.
Right.
He was a Trill host.
Right. So again, right. So queer. So who did Worf end up marrying? Jadzia. Queer
Jadzia.
as hell. All right.
Yeah, Curzon Dax inside of her. Curzon, hello.
Yeah, so exactly. I love that scene when they met the friend for the first time after changing bodies. And he's like, my old friend, how are you? Da, 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 da. And it was like, so she know, my old friend, she didn't care. He was like, you're still him. Like, again.
But that's a perfect example of it. That's a perfect example of it, And with that, I got to go dance and get some bills paid. I'll be right back.
LDM Radio.
And we're back. I'm broke, but still here. And now for some news. Today in the news, Highlander is moving forward to filming for a hopeful 25-26 release. Yes, Russell Crowe as Ramirez. Henry Cavill as... I forgot his name right now.
Henry Cavill?
Henry Cavill. What can I say? Well, it's not a Witcher film, that's for sure.
What is the movie?
It is Highlander.
There can only be one.
No, there can only be one. And they did show a picture of it.
The main one, or?
No, he's Colin McLeod, and one of the characters there, and also featuring his brother, also another McLeod. So, and they have a good, I mean, from what I can remember visually seeing, they have a good cast there. Now, again, they just started again only because Henry has already healed up from his injury in the, was it the first or second month of filming? So they're winding up.
Is it modern, or are they gonna do it like?
It's a retelling of the tale. It's, so we're gonna go with. Well, I'm definitely going with that. I'm definitely gonna see that they're gonna go with practical effects, but The director is the director of one of John Wick's films, Parabellum.
Only
So,
one?
only one, but the thing is, at least as far as the action is concerned, it'll be John Wickish, if that's a word in itself.
Maybe they could explain the things that help Sam understand why.
Why?
Why you're an immortal, but when you get,
That is so dumb.
And you can die when they cut your head off,
but you're immortal.
but you're immortal.
The director's name is Chad Stilinski, and he sounds like a reject from Wolf's. He sounds like Chad Stilinski.
All I see is a guy with a leather
Chad.
sweater.
All I'm
With the letter A sweater.
Oh wait,
No.
it just reminds me, I just watched the first season of Chad Powers. So now when she brings that up, Chad Powers comes to mind.
Oh my God. I see a grease guy with a leather.
But you know and this is again not sci-fi, not comic book, but that show Chad Powers was based on Eli Manning because he jumped in disguised, and they showed the picture of him, Chad Powers and Eli disguising himself, coming into a tryout for quarterback,
But,
and they have him in the show. They have him in the show. It's like, who the hell is that guy? I'm like, well, that's you, brother.
Well, no. So what I was saying was that his name makes him sound like he's like a reject from Teen Wolf. So, like a Teen Wolf stuff. Sorry. So apparently, me and him have the same birthday. We're September 20th. Hey. So, sorry. So apparently, he first achieved prominence as a stunt performer, and he was a key stunt double for Keanu Reeves on The Matrix.
Okay.
Not only did he direct John Wick 1,
Okay.
John Wick 2, John Wick 3, he directed all 4 John Wicks. So it's not like he
Okay.
did just one.
Not just one then. So it's 4. So he's got,
And Highlander is another one that he's directing. He has not
So he's
directed.
gonna probably do it modern.
very modern. And the action sequences, the fight sequences, that's what I'm looking forward to.
So that's that would probably be the only thing I would look forward to in that movie. I'm not again.
He's gonna do a John Wick type of thing. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Uh-huh.
I haven't seen all of Highlander, so I don't really know the story. I don't know. I've tried. Like I said, I understand the concept of what he is, but like never really got into his
The lore
story.
of it all, yeah. I mean, I remember I've been watching like the movies of Highlander, which also had what's his name playing the part of Colin McLeod, and then switch over when they started doing the TV series Highlander, and then I think his name is Adrian. He then continued the part where he's Colin McLeod, and then they made a movie with both of them together in it. And I'm like, they're both Colin McLeod.
So that's why I was confused.
Yeah,
That's what's
probably why I was
confusing.
confused.
It's an Irish thing or whatever it was, but it was very confusing without alcohol to actually understand it. But either way, it's still raked in money because in a sense, it's kind of a practical effects, low budget type of film. So you are, if you put the right kind of star power, and let's just say that if they chime into the same time of action sequences that is familiar to like what people like in John Wick, but in this same way with swords.
I was just thinking that how they're going to translate the fighting with swords and from what he's used to doing with guns. So I'm kind of curious about. Other
There
than
could be
that,
guns involved. I'm not saying there won't be, but it will be ineffective because again, they're immortal. But if you're doing it with swords, then I don't know, because I know from what I've seen with Keanu Reeves, a lot of his work, what he does with swords and hand-to-hand combat, was Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu all the way through, because that's his team, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now, are they translating it to the year? Is it going to be more Krav Maga type style fighting? That too translate to John Wick in a sense. So I'm looking forward to seeing, what's it going to turn out to be. If it's straight up just sword fighting, then I think of him in, The Witcher. And then his sword fighting, what he does in The Witcher, similar to this. Again, it's, is the director behind John Wick, so the action has to be,
I don't-
there.
On the street with a sword.
No.
First of all, I find it funny that if we had swords instead of guns, you would have to have more skill to utilize a sword, and you have to really want blood. You have to really want that fight because you have the amount of time it takes you to take it out of your sheath, and also to like hit someone. I think like the concept of you see the aftermath of what you dealt on someone with a weapon like that versus you could shoot a gun and then run away and never see the outmath. So like fighting with a sword to me is a little bit cooler because there is a lot more like you really gotta want that fight to be like I'm fighting you. Let's go. Like
It reminds me of the scene in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
love that movie.
Where the criminals are on one end and the guys on the other side are planning to rob them. And then you got the one unlikely guy who seems like he could never hurt a fly, and he pulls up this freaking 13-inch blade, and he says, "Knives are good, knives are quiet. You can threaten somebody and slice them into small little pieces, and they will talk." And I'm like, you're scary. You're scary. So that's why I say knives are fucking scary. Excuse me for the French, but
That's
yeah.
why when they have that guy that tortures people, he opens up the little thing and he has all these different type of knives. And, yeah,
Most of those are actually, some of those instruments are actually for autopsies.
yeah.
I was like, when I say, what's a bone saw doing? What's it? Oh, it's like, so you saw it, like, oh, what? Oh, bone saw. Oh, I'm already hurting, and he hadn't even pulled anything out yet.
Why am I thinking something completely horrible right now? I don't even know. I was like, if I'm thinking
share
like,
with
oh,
the
you
group.
said knives, tortures, and meanwhile, I'm like, if I was a torturer and I had a kit, all the stuff that I would have in my kit would probably be stuff that's used on women in like regular OBGYN appointments. So I'd have like a speculum. I'm like, let's go in your booty hole. Let's go. Like, I would make them
I can
feel
really, you know what? I can really see her and having the
Yeah, screw
guy's
your
legs
knives.
extended,
Screw your
and he's
knives.
right there, and you know the package there, and she's coming up with a maxi pad going, pa, and rip it off.
Maxi pad is not that strong.
You get that one guy, ooh, yes. Oh,
And it feels so smooth afterwards.
Those you can't beat. Those are the ones you're like, you know what?
I was like, I torture them. Sit here and watch this ugly ass B movie.
I love B movies.
You know, believe it or not, some B films are actually excellent.
Immaculate.
Excellent. I swear. I mean, I was a big Trauma fan. And when they brought out The Toxic Avenger, I mean, the newest one with Peter Dinklage, I haven't watched yet. But I'm a fan of the old one because they had Toxic Avenger, Sergeant Kabuki Man. Oh, I love Sergeant
Such a
Kabuki
Kabuki
Man.
Man was really good.
I mean, those are the two that I followed the most and I loved. Oh my God, there was such a great B film adaptations that were put out there, and Trauma hold nothing back, bro. Hold nothing back in that respect.
Speaking of B horror, what other B horror movies are getting adaptations?
Oh yes.
Saw that transition.
In the news today, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes will now have a reboot. It has officially started production.
Why does he do like 1940s newscaster and then I do like 1990s newscaster when I do mine?
Those are the ones I remember from old radio back then, old radio. But yeah, they're bringing back Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
You know what's so funny? How they try to bring it as a horror. When it first came out, like, no. The name said Attack. But
No.
It was definitely. It
My
was
first weed
great.
experience was that with Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, bro. Let me watch this, and then we got high, and I watched this. Like, yeah.
Oh, the first movie you saw high was that?
Uh-huh.
Mine was Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Oh, well, see, that's better to watch, bro.
now I don't even know what's worse: Attack of the Killer Tomatoes or Attack of the Clowns.
Oh.
Or you know what's better than both
Killer
of them?
Clowns.
No.
It was so funny in Attack of the Clowns when they cut the belly, and you could see it was a rope with had paint. I was like, yo,
Practical
Those
effects.
Those movies are great.
it's so sad.
Those movies are great, but have you guys seen Attack of the Killer Couch?
What the hell?
Art. There's a movie called Attack of the Killer Couch. Or is it Killer Sofa or something like that? I
Oh,
swear to
heck no.
God. Such a good movie.
Exactly the space that I'm having right now. Like what?
That's homework for everybody tonight. Watch
Just
Attack of the
time
Killer
alone,
Couch.
I'm gonna be like, no, I'm not in the mood for comedy. You know?
Yo, it's like, you kidding me? I'm gonna sit down,
When
watch
we
a
talk
film about the thing I'm sitting down that's gonna wind up killing me.
And when they
The
coming
Killer
out with it,
Sofa.
Ki-
when they coming out with it,
killer so
It's an
far.
old movie. It's
The B film.
Tomatoes, when are they gonna come out with it?
Hopefully they're looking at 26, late 26, early 27. And I'm like, I'm looking forward to seeing that, man. Again, as long as they keep the practical effects, I mean, don't go overboard with it. Because it was so funny with just seeing them roll tomatoes across the floor as if tomatoes are chasing you. Yo, and when one gets you, oh, you gotta be kidding me,
They're gonna have
bro.
the tomato fight? That big tomato fight they have in Brazil and all that? Are they gonna have that?
No, I would love it if
Oh
they
my
had
God,
a
that was
scene.
Oh, my brother!
That would be great. I'm not gonna lie.
Morales!
No, it would be funny if it winds up in Los Angeles in the what do you call it in the district where they have all those food carts, and all of a sudden the tomatoes or whatever, somebody starts something with the tomatoes, and then some guy comes up. My name is Antonio Montaña. You have killed my father. Prepare to die.
Right? Who's that talking? That's the hamburger with the tomato in it.
I was just like, can you imagine they make like ketchup and someone like eats the ketchup? There's a lot. You
And
remember the
shoots
movie
out
The
of it.
Blob? Just thinking about like old school movies. That movie also deserves a remake. The Blob.
I was just thinking that. It's funny how you say that.
Yeah.
They made a remake,
They did make a remake
but it
in the
wasn't
90s.
No.
as
No.
catching as
No.
No.
That movie definitely needs a remake.
Yeah.
The older one is very
Another
well
film. Oh
done.
my God, I didn't watch it. I was like, yo. When it fell on the guy, I was the only one in stitches laughing. We were like, I'm like,
guy on the toilet.
oh,
Bob came back.
oh,
man.
man.
Yeah, there were some good ones.
Like I said,
For special
B
effects,
films,
To say we're going to
B films. I mean, there's one.
Welcome to the zone where geeks collide, where comics and heroes come alive. Marvel, DC, Starfleet in the mix. Lightsabers flash, we're nerding out quick. Nerd